This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Joining us today is Craig Foster, of course, the CEO of Ondo InsurTech. Craig, it's great to be catching up. There's a few things you've been at, some events, but how are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks, Mark. It's nice to talk to you eventually. We tried a bunch of times to catch up, and I do apologise. I've just been so busy. It's hard to set something up, so it's good to finally connect.
Indeed, yes. You've been travelling quite a bit, haven't you? So the last time we spoke, you were heading to Nashville, of course, the home of country music, but you were there for a show, really, an insurance show. And I've got a picture here. This is, I think, from the event. So tell us how that event was and what came out of it for you.
Yeah, it was great. Well, I'm not sure the event we were at was as entertaining as some of the country music that's on in Nashville, but it was a great event. So it was the think tank. You might remember we joined this think tank, the think tank that loads of the top 20 insurers are members of, and it's also Ting, the fire solution, are also members of this. And we did our first presentation in Las Vegas back in, it was September, October last year, where we introduced LeakBot in that forum. So we've been really following the steps that Ting have been doing and how they're approaching 2 million homes in the US. And they use this think tank really as a way to drive more partnerships and more sales. So we've been kind of following their kind of playbook. So this was the second event. And what we did here was we kind of held a kind of roundtable discussion in front of the whole audience. And we invited some of our partners along. So there's Keith Bregman there on my right-hand side from Selective. There's Jack Willis from Pure, who's on my left-hand side. And then, unfortunately, Jen from Nationwide, there was some kind of cyclone or crazy storm in Ohio, so she didn't manage to take off the runway. So she was joining on video call, but there was Jen from representing Nationwide. So we basically had a discussion, and it was all about sharing their thoughts on using this type of technology to prevent claims and what they've learned along the way and what the results have been, and which is very powerful. It's okay me saying it, but it's much more powerful hearing it from their mouths to that audience. You know, you had Jen from Nationwide talking about how the reason why she was asked, why did you roll it out to 16 states? And she said, well, it's because we've seen the return on investment. We know that it works. And then Jack and Keith both talking about how important the customer satisfaction is and the fact that they did it for commercial reasons to start with. But then when they see the customer testimonials and they see that their members love it so much, that's really a massive motivator to carry on. So it was very, very powerful. And it was a super audience, you know, a whole bunch of top 10, top 20 insurers, some of which we're far down the path with, some of which we're earlier in the process, some of which we haven't, managed to break through. So you can see that the value of this type of thing.
Well, I do remember you saying that there was a lot of value from the one in Las Vegas. So would you say you've come back with some sort of leads to follow up, or is it more about sort of just keeping your face in the game with a lot of these insurers who you're not quite in with yet?
Exactly. Well, some of the new ones, it's a new opportunity. Some of the ones that were in the pipeline, it's a good opportunity to just catch up face to face. And then you've got others that we're much further down the path with. So, I mean, the incentive for these guys to come along to the presentation, you said, well, we'll take them out for a good night out in Nashville, which we did. But they're just invaluable, that type of partner development opportunity, because, you know, you can go out in a more casual setting, go for a few beers. And one of the other partners that we're further along down the path with, we brought them out with us too, so they can hear in a more informal setting about what it's like working with LeakBot on the ground and how the guys are feeling about it. So it's it's just really good thing to do, and I think you'll see some fruits of this fairly soon, I think.
Excellent, good stuff. Good to hear, Craig. And then, of course, you were in London, weren't you? With who was it with? It was with the InsurTech Insights. Was that a conference? And is it Hiscox that are on the stage there talking about you?
Yeah, this was a good conference actually. we've more focused on the US of late. We found those conferences to be really productive. But this was a good one, fairly decent size and well represented in London this week. So one of the interesting things is Adele Robertson from Hiscox there on the right hand side. I wasn't involved in this on the stage, obviously. I was in the audience, but it was a good panel discussion. But Adele took the opportunity to talk about LeakBot and how Hiscox have been using it to prevent water damage claims. And the panel were asking her questions. So that was really, really great to hear us get a name check at that event as well. So no, it was really good. And you can still see, even though there was a dip in InsurTech investment, it's you can see that kind of next wave of startups coming through. But everything's very kind of AI focused in terms of all the new businesses that are kind of pitching for insurers money.
Well, you're, of course, much further down the line than that. That definitely moved on from a startup. I remember the ITC in Amsterdam, where your partner from Sweden there, Lasse Schaffrengard, was on stage with you, effectively giving a testimonial. I think it's fantastic that these companies will actually publicly go and endorse, let's say, a company like yourself. I mean, again, what comes from this event, do you think, Craig? Things you can follow up on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without naming names, we've got some new leads, some brand new leads from this event, as well as it's a chance to, catch up face to face with, it's difficult getting to see people face to face nowadays. So it's nice to catch up with existing partners and pipeline partners while we were there as well.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Other guys from NFU and other people that we're already working with that you know about. It's a chance to see them face to face.
Indeed. Well, let's just come back to some of the more corporate elements of Ondo here. So you've got warrants, haven't you, that are expiring today, in fact. Mm-hmm. So just remind people what the situation is with the warrants here. There's a few left to be exercised, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are 25p warrants that were part of the original RTO from back in March 2022. It didn't in any way kind of bank on any of the warrant money coming in when we were building our budgets. But what's been a nice surprise is the share price. They've all been well in the money. So the vast majority of those obviously have come in. The deadline's today. I think there's hardly any left. But what we'll do is we'll do a press release after it's concluded with the details. But that's been a nice bonus really for the company because it's some extra capital we weren't expecting. But it's also enabled us to pay down a big chunk of the vendor loan note from the original RTO transaction. So the share price has held up relatively well. I'm sure some of our investors, as I did, sold some shares to free up some cash to then increase their shareholding and exercise the warrants, but the share price has held up really well all the way through that process. So good to have that conclusion, that thing concluded today, and so I think it's been positive.
Good. And you're sort of set up now, aren't you? I know you've got the loan is sort of still outstanding, but that's not a problem. It was restructured recently, and I think you said you don't anticipate more placings. You can sort of carry on now effectively.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I think it's been a really important change and really good progress this year. So as you mentioned, that vendor loan note could have been a problem because there was a big lump of a repayment coming quite soon, but HomeServe is still our biggest shareholder. They were a while ago. We renegotiated that; it was in their interest and ours. So we pushed the first repayment into the future. We rolled up the interest and pushed that further out by another year. And what it means is we're comfortable that we'll be able to meet all those obligations from future trading revenues. And that was even if we didn't pay anything off early. But what we have done is we've used almost half, I think 40% of all the warrants that have been coming in, we've just been paying straight to HomeServe to pay that loan note down early. So that's positive. We think we'll hit EBITDA positive trading at the back half of next year. And we've really done a lot to change the working capital profile of the deals that we work on. So even though it's a recurring revenue business, what we've been doing in all of our contracts recently is under a master services agreement, taking a prepayment on an order of devices for the first years of recurring fees. We take the cash, we normally invoice on 30-day terms. We don't pay the factory. We pay the factory on 90-day terms. So basically those pre-orders fund the working capital of any deployment. And once we've done that, it really transforms the working capital of the business. So the nice thing is there isn't a cash constraint on growth, which is super important for a business like us. And it means it's good for shareholders because it avoids that dilution. We don't need to do placing. We don't anticipate needing to raise any more money to grow the business.
Indeed. Now, if I can just finish, there's a lot of pictures in this interview, but you've been posting them over on your X account there. This, from what I understand, is that you're effectively your UK team, new vans, LeakBot here. And I do just want to talk about this a little bit because, of course, I think people consider Ondo InsurTech, certainly I did, as a technology company that has the device that then goes off to the insurance companies. But these are actually your employees, aren't they?
Yeah, so this is some of our plumbers. So these are, directly employed by us. We gave the reason why I put this online is because we gave these guys new vans this week that they're very, very happy about. It's interesting to talk about this because sometimes there's a little bit of a dichotomy, I would say, where if I talk to investors, investors tend to really like the idea that we're a technology company, and obviously we've got unique technology. There's a moat around the business because of that unique tech that we invented, and we own the IP on it. And it creates a competitive advantage for us, for sure. However, when you talk to our partners, and you saw this in Nashville last week, when Keith from Selective was talking about why he likes LeakBot, he said, look, their secret sauce is really the fact that they have in the US what you call W-2, so proper employees, not subcontractors, employed plumbers in a LeakBot uniform, turning up in a LeakBot van, delivering just absolutely sky-high customer service. We've got an over 80 net promoter score, 5-star Trustpilot service that we deliver every time. And that's what the homeowners like, but it's really what the insurers like because it's a plumbing service that really is connected to the sensor technology. And actually, that's the thing that fixes the root cause of the problem, and their policyholders love it. So it's something close to my heart. I mean, my dad was actually an industrial pipe fitter. My father-in-law was a plumber. And so I grew up, I'm from a working class background. I really grew up to respect, tradesmen that do a fantastic job and take a real pride in what they do. And so we have a very high bar, and we only recruit the absolute best plumbers that we can find, and these guys are just super. I mean, the guy at the front of the picture, Tristan, I got a review from a customer that landed in my inbox last week, and it sounded the same with all of our reviews about how they're so professional and they've got high tech kit, and then they found a league that I didn't even know that I had. But then there was a really nice comment saying, I've never known a tradesman treat me or my house with so much respect because they made him a cup of coffee and he insisted on washing up his own coffee cup before he left the house. That's the type of thing that our customers, can expect from that in-home experience. Okay. So, we don't talk about it very much, actually, but it is a really, really important part of our value proposition.
Yeah, I think so. Not just a tech company with a compelling product there. You've actually got real hard people on the ground actually working for you. It's more than just a device that's technology driven. So finishing off then, Craig, what's going on generally? I mean, you probably can't disclose too much, but the factory's going okay. You've got things in the pipeline with new contracts coming.
Yeah, so factory's working well. I know I promised you a factory visit and I had something interesting to show you. So that is in process, and I'll let you know as soon as we've got something up and running. So we're sorry to be intriguing about that. I said it'd be ready by end of March, but it's going to take a little bit longer. But fairly soon I'll meet you down there and we can maybe we can do a video on it. I'll show you something interesting.
Indeed.
So factory's fine. Yeah, and it's just more of the same really. Focus on the core markets more partners in the pipeline. Some imminent news that I think you'll find very interesting. And then just carrying on with the day-to-day work of driving deeper penetration into the existing partners. We're experimenting with a lot of new marketing tools and marketing techniques at the moment. Refining that engine and making sure it works more and more effective, so we can get into a high kind of take up within these much, much bigger partners that we've signed recently that we're just getting started with. So yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Good. Well, thank you as always for your time, Craig Foster, the CEO of Ondo InsurTech.
Thanks, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at StockBoxMedia.com. Thank you for watching.